Welcome back to Unstable TV! And you're through to Irish Couple Reacts. And do stay tuned because this happens every week.
So if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of these videos. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you!
So today we were asked to check out a bit of a different video. So let's see what this is all about. So this is when an Indian historian lashed out at the West. I mean, this could be a number of different things, so we are quite interested to see what the issue was.
So this came from a suggestion from our community tab. It was told again to us during our live stream, so we're going to check this out. I think this was a new round, was it?
I think so.
Yep, so a new round if you're watching, shout out to you. So without further ado, thanks so much for everyone that did suggest. Let's jump into this ourselves and you guys, let's go.
When I listen to Boris Johnson, when I listen to people like Joe Biden, when I listen even more to Emmanuel Macron, all I can think of is how condescending you are. Glasgow was the UK's second most important city. Beautiful buildings, beautiful streets, a gorgeous city. When I see cities like this, I think also about the other side of it. You know, there's a phrase from Walter Benjamin, every monument of civilization is also a monument of barbarism. I think of the famines in Bengal, the jute workers in Bengal sending jute to Dundee through the Glasgow port. I think of human beings from Africa enslaved and brought from Ghana to the New World, and all those prophets getting sucked into cities like London and Glasgow. You know, between 1765 and 1938, the British Isles stole $45 trillion pounds from India, 45 trillion sterling from India. We never got paid for that. When the British left India, when we threw the British out, our literacy rate was 13%. So much for several hundred years of so-called civilization. Meanwhile, our landscapes were destroyed. You know, coal was foisted on India. You foisted coal on us. You were the ones that came and made us coal dependent. And then you left, and now you dare to condescend to us. When I listen to Boris Johnson, when I listen to people like Joe Biden, when I listen even more to Emmanuel Macron, all I can think of is how condescending you are. You condescended to us 400 years ago. You condescended to us 300 years ago. You condescended to us 200 years ago. You condescended to us 100 years ago. You're condescending to us today. You only know condescension because for you, colonialism isn't something that happened in the past and we defeated you. It's not that. For you, colonialism is a permanent condition. And that permanent condition happens in two ways. There's the permanent condition of the colonial mentality. You want to lecture us. You want to tell us that we are responsible for all the problems because you'll never accept that you're the one principally to blame. You signed the Rio Formula in 1992 on common and differentiated responsibilities. You like the common part. You like the common part. You like to say we're all in this together and so on. We're not in this together. The United States, 4-5% of the world's population, still uses 25% of the world's resources. You outsource production to China and then you say China is the carbon polluter. China's producing your buckets. China's producing your nuts and bolts. China's producing your phones. Try to produce it in your own countries and see your carbon emissions rise. You love lecturing us because you have a colonial mentality. Then there are colonial structures and institutions. You lend us money, and every time you lend us money, which is our money, every time the International Monetary Fund comes to our societies and they tell us, here's the money we are giving you. No, it's our money. You give us our money back as debt, and then you lecture us about how we should live. The climate justice movement is a movement that says we're worried about our future. What future? What future? Children in the African continent, in Asia, in Latin America, they don't have a future. They don't have a present. They're not worried about the future. They're worried about their present. Your slogan is, we're worried about the future. What future? That's a middle-class bourgeois Western slogan. You got to be worried about now. 2.7 billion people can't eat now. And you're telling people reduce your consumption. How does this sound to a child who hasn't eaten in days? You gotta clue into this, guys. You gotta clue into this. Otherwise, this movement will have no legs in the third world.
Oof.
That was powerful. That was powerful. And like, we say the same thing about China though. It's like, because we've said this in a few videos before, we can't talk about anything to do with China or Bangladesh or anything like that, because that's where we get our stuff from.
Yeah.
And if we're to turn around and say they all need to stop producing this, that and the other, then we'd have to stop what we're doing now. You can't do it. You can't.
So first of all, a very big shout out to the original content creator. Thanks so much for suggesting this, everyone. We do appreciate that. So make sure you go over there and give them a like, subscribe and share. My God, that historian, like when you guys were telling us to check him out, just the points he was raising and what he said, and he's right with that. This slogan, like, don't worry guys, we're fed up with that slogan as well, the future this. What about the present now? What about everyone that's starving now? We're fed up with that slogan as well. We're fed up hearing it too.
But it is one of them things. If we don't sort out the problems today, we won't have to worry about the future, because there won't be one.
Yeah, there will be no tomorrow.
It has to be sorted now, not in 20 years.
Yeah. And he's right when he said the trillions the British Empire stole from India. Like, it's hilarious to turn around and say to them, oh, here's a loan, or here's your money back in debt.
Yep. It doesn't make sense.
Like, we know a lot of you guys were telling us in the comments, a lot of yourselves from the Asian world telling us how much they looted.
Yeah.
We understand that.
Sure, the Queen is still wearing the
jewel and the crown.
The jewel. In case any of our British viewers are watching this, that's where the Queen's jewel came from.
Yep. And we're not on a hate campaign for the people of England, in case anyone thinks that we're not. We're only talking about information here. Like,
it's history.
It's exactly, at the end of the day, it is history. Yes, he has every right to be outraged. Same way, if an Irish person sat up there and was outraged about our country being looted, that is what happened to us too. So we understand. Well, we don't, but our ancestors understand. And we're not going to turn around and say, oh, we felt like we didn't. No. We weren't alive then. It is history. It is information. And what he's saying about, like, giving them a land, giving them their own money back, he's not wrong.
No.
And I didn't even think about, what you were saying about China before being outsourced and stuff like that. But when he said that, actually, they all do that in the Western world. They turn around and say China's carbon emission in Hong Kong and Japan, and then they say India as well. It's like, well, where's all our stuff coming from?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think a lot of people think about that though. If the bigger countries that have the higher carbon emissions, if they reduced it, the world would not be what it is now. You would not have the luxuries that we have now.
No, you wouldn't have such brilliant inventions that are coming across from Asia. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, think about this. Say they reduce their carbon emissions on making iPhones. And an iPhone is like €1,000 now anyway.
Yeah.
And if they had to reduce that and make less of them, sure, an iPhone could cost about 20 grand then, if that's the case. That's the other side of things people don't think about either.
Yeah, and he's right what he said. He's like, where's all your mass production come from? Like, how do people think you can go onto these sites and get cheaper clothes and all that?
Yeah.
How do you think, like, we're out Asia, whether everyone likes it or not?
The world's not going to be like it is now.
Yeah, you are going to have to start learning to build things yourself. And he's right where he said, why don't we all start trying and building these countries?
We could.
Yeah, but we'd have to hire admissions then.
Yeah.
But everyone, we all love to talk about these green policies, but we don't want to look at the truth of it. We don't want to talk about the truth of it. And he raised a lot of good points here. Now, we're not hating on everyone. Everyone's a consumer. It's brilliant hearing him, he raised a lot of good points and all that. But he's not in poverty himself. No. He's sitting up there.
He's also sitting in a room being filmed on a high quality camera.
Yep.
That came from somewhere that has high emissions.
Yep.
Now, obviously he needs to do that to get his point across. But
he's also wearing high quality clothes that comes from somewhere. And then, the mass produced microphone in his hand. We can go back and forth. Yep. He's raising points. He's very good at saying, but make sure you know, everyone around knows. Like, we know we can't turn around and say...
No, we say that in a lot of videos, though.
Yeah.
We can't talk about capitalism or anything like that because we're using all the technology here.
Of course, look, we're here to discuss and debate. We want to hear what you guys think of this as well. And if there's any other videos like this, you know, don't be shy, let us know. And we want to learn more about what happened in India's history. You guys have been brilliant sending us that over. We've learned so much, even as far back as the freedom fighters as well, and how it came to be.
Absolutely.
And to say about civilization like that, about the literacy rate when they came, and they only had was it 13%?
13% when they left, yeah.
Yeah, but civilization.
I liked what he was saying about the leaders being condescending. Now, I feel like every leader in the world is condescending.
Yeah.
But that is a good point to raise because a lot of people don't talk about that. It's like, you know, here's all our country's good points, but this is what you need to fix about yours. And it's kind of like, well, you have to look inward on your country too.
Yeah.
It can't just be, you know, well, your country's worse, so we're fine. Nowhere is going to move on if that's the case.
But that's what it is. When you have the meetings, they're quick to point out each other's flaws, but not quick to develop a plan and get working on that today.
Exactly.
They're always great at signing these documents to say, oh, in the future.
Yeah.
In about 30 years from now, it's like, no, today. Like, that's going to stick with me what he said. The children that are starving now are thinking about now, not the future. And...
But it is true though. It's like all of the, I'm only speaking about Ireland because I don't know about the rest of the world. Everything's gone up: electricity, gas, food. Like, there's people now that have to decide between heating their house or feeding their family. That's not a future problem, that's today.
Yeah.
And again, they're talking about, oh, we'll figure that out in the next 5 years. People aren't going to be here in 5 years if that's the case.
Yeah, they won't be here next week.
Yeah.
At the rate it's gone.
It has to be sorted immediately.
Yeah. Now, before we sign off this, we're not saying everything's hopeless. And
No.
We're not saying there is a brighter future. Of course, the irony saying that, but it has to. We need to stop using that term future because you can see we're even saying it now as well. It needs to be today. But again, anyone down there, down below, let us know your thoughts on this. What you guys think. What he could have expanded on more, and how do you feel about what he said? Do you feel he's like, you don't have to agree with everything here. If you feel there's another point to this, or there's something you want to get across, tell us in the comments, or you have more information on this you want to share with us, suggest us a video, or send us articles or documents to help us understand further.
And we're also not saying that all of these countries are bad, because they're not.
No. Every country has its own bad and its good.
Yeah.
So, you know, be open to that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understand where you're coming from with the British looting. The British looted a lot of countries, and it doesn't take away from the impact. You know, the history's always going to be there, but hopefully they eventually give the stuff back. Eventually take it out of museums, because I mean, having that in your museums and it's not yours.
No. But again, you know, Britain looted India, that's awful. But the most expensive house is in India, looking over slums.
Yes.
So I mean, that's, if you're gonna look at one, you have to look at the other.
Yeah, both sides have to be looked upon. You know, the Queen with the jewel there in her crown, and then, you know, in India, the billionaire, house over slums watching people.
It's not.
You know, you have to look at all of it. And I think we'll leave it that way.
Yeah, because we could be talking about this all day, so we better wrap it up.
So that has been our 2 cents, and we will chop ourselves out of this.
As always, you are the beautiful people of YouTube, and we have been Unstable TV.
So drop a comment below and let us know what you thought of this reaction video. And if you have any suggestions for us to do, let us know too.
And as always, we will see you in the next one. Bye.